It's on my page. 1 second.
Okay. And you are live. Go.
Yes. Okay.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Welcome to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net stream HR2. We're normally on HR1 right now because we are in our home studio. I believe we're also waiting to see. Oh, we're going to have fun tonight, don't you think? We're waiting to see the Roku channel behind us that you are actually on right now. You're live. So I'm very glad to have you here, Jason Carter Mcord. Everybody knows you as JC Mcord.
It's true.
Thank you
DJ
so much
Dani. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Well, the last time I remember speaking with you, the first time I remember speaking to you, I believe my father was FaceTiming you.
I believe he was. That sounds accurate. Yes. I had multiple conversations going on at the same time.
Yes. And then he called me over and he's like, Danielle, I want you to talk to this guy. I think you should get him on your show. He's a country singer. And here we are tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. And thank you, everybody who's watching.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like this is going to be amazing for both of us. And I also am super excited to share what your past was, where you are now standing, and what your future will be. And I feel like being a part of a radio show or being interviewed is definitely that, because you want to put your goals out there. And even if you mention something on the show today, and it happens a couple years from now, it's something that you put out there, like by accident, but it happens, a good accident, not a bad one. But.
Absolutely. Happy to be on here, and I'm happy to answer any and all of your questions. Just don't ask me about my PIN codes for my bank account, and we'll be fine.
Oh, that's none of my business whatsoever. Here today, he's going to be co-hosting part of the whole show.
Hey, Jake, good to see you.
Yeah,
nice to see
and
you
it's also very important for me to mention that because, as I said in the beginning, you're the one that gave me the intention to talk to him and speak with him because I spoke with him when you were FaceTiming him. So, all right. So JC, why don't we start a little bit just at the beginning? I know music was something that you grew up in the household and something that you loved when you were younger. Even when you were on vacation with your family in Disney, being in Florida. Now, was that a planned show? What exactly happened? Can you explain?
What exactly happened? Well, I'll give you some backstory. So music was always on in my house. My mother had very eclectic tastes. She introduced me to James Taylor, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Fleetwood Mac, George Strait. It was such a wide listening array of music. It was the saying in our house, hey, if it's good, we put it on. And I've always been grateful for that. She's been an appreciator of music. She was certainly a huge supporter of me following my dreams and continuing to work on songwriting because she knew it was such a big thing. Even very early on, she would tell me that when I was very young, I wouldn't even remember. She'd go, oh, yeah, you were always writing songs in your room. And then you'd come out in the living room and you'd say, hey, listen to my newest song. I'm like, wow, I did that? She's like, oh, yeah. So I think it's always been ingrained. Now,
that was Virginia, right? Your mother, Virginia?
It's true, yes. Unfortunately, we lost her in 2016 to lung cancer. Thank you. Yeah, she was an amazing person, and she'd be the first to tell you, no tears, no tears. She had a great life, and she was always just such a motivational, positive person. And I still, I hear her advice today. So she's still in my heart.
And always beside you all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember, and as parents do, it's kind of like a rite of passage. As a teenager, she took me to Disney World in Florida, and it was right around the time they had a new attraction. I'm probably dating myself here, but they had a new attraction at the time. I think it was MGM Studios. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a newer thing they had going on, which was like a live television studio that they had within the park, and they turned it into an attraction. So one of the attractions was again, live studio audience. You could come in and sort of like audition to do something on the show, kind of like a variety show of different talent.
Oh, okay.
So Yeah, so it was not planned. It was just completely on a whim. It's like, hey, let's check this out. And so I got up there, like, well, what do you do? I'm like, well, I sing. Like, what do you want to sing? I said, I'd like to sing America the Beautiful. And I did about like maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute. They said, yep, we want you for the show. So then it was like, okay, go and have fun for an hour. Now come back here because we're going to have like a live studio. And then you're going to be on here with like several other people. Again, like really not having any idea what to expect. So, we go ride rides and come back, and like we're literally on this television set. They've got the cameras, they've got everything, and they've got about a few hundred people in the audience. They're all it's like a live audience.
Yep.
So and they're basically telling me, like, in the moment, okay, you're going to be, you're going to come up after this person, and there's going to be several people in front of you, and you're going to stand up here. Here's your mark right there on stage. Stand up right there in the middle, and we're going to give you. There was a piano player there who was on the side. They're going to play, and you're going to sing "America the Beautiful." I said, okay, cool. So I did. I did the song, and much to my surprise, and I'm sure my mother's surprise, I got a standing ovation. Everybody stood up. Everybody applauded, and I think what really was the most moving part was after it was all said and done. This woman from Great Britain had stuck around. Everybody's like filing out and heading on into the park. Well, this woman stuck around, and I think she wanted to see like where I was going to end up. So I'm over, going to see my mother, and she just comes up to us, and she said, I just wanted to stay and tell you that was the most beautiful version of that song I'd ever heard. And it was such a great thing for me to hear, but then to see that look of absolute beaming pride that my mother had, I think that might be when I got the bug of like, you know what, I think I might want to try doing this. And this is way before there was American Idol. This was before The Voice. This was kind of like what we did to try to get recognized. There were really
to get yourself out there.
Yeah, like there was Star Search. But there wasn't a lot of the reality shows going on. And this was just kind of an avenue. Nothing really came from it. But like as far as professionally, but that experience, it's like I can still see that woman's face from Great Britain. And I was just so grateful that, my mother and we had that moment. It was really cool.
Well, even standing up on the stage after you're done singing and seeing everyone in the audience standing for you. I mean, how did you feel? At a young age, how old were you?
Yeah, I was going to say I was probably, if I had to, I guess, I'm sure I have it written down somewhere in my bio, but I think I was like maybe 12, maybe 13.
Yeah.
So to kind of back up a little bit, before that point, I had, even when I was even younger, I'd auditioned for a professional boys choir. They were called the Pittsburgh Boys Choir, out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And they performed classical music. So I had got accepted into that performance group, and we rehearsed. I believe there was like 2 nights a week. Now by this point, I'm like 9, 10 years old. So there were like 2 nights a week. You had to go to rehearsal, and you had to learn phonetic sounds. You had to learn Italian. We learned German. We learned Latin. Not necessarily the language, but just the phonetics of how to pronounce those words. So it was pretty serious stuff. Yeah, especially for a 9-year-old kid.
Was it strict?
Yeah, I would say so. The gentleman who was the director, Scott Franklin, super nice guy, but he demanded a lot from us. And that's what really, helped you to be professional. You knew that it's like, look, there's a lot at stake, and you've got to bring your A game, because everybody's trying to do the same thing, and you want the show to be as great as it can. And I mean, the group had performed, we'd done performances with like Harlem Boys Choir, the American Boys Choir. There was a lot of different things that we do every summer. We would go and tour. So that's how I got to see a lot of the United States. So, I was out on a bus going through the Midwest, performing in a lot of different cities. I performed with the group. We performed at Mount Rushmore. We performed at Annapolis, Maryland, in the Naval Academy, and I got to Colorado Springs to see perform at the Air Force Academy in their chapel. It was just an amazing experience, especially for me when I was so young. So I think it was like it was starting early that I saw myself doing music to some extent professionally.
And it's something that you started young to where you are doing, now. But I know in the beginning, like middle of it, you also took a break from music.
I did. So I went to college, Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. And then after that, spent 10 years working in Nashville as a demo singer. So songwriters would hire me to, when they were doing demos to pitch to other artists, they would hire me to come in and record the demo for them. So I got to meet a lot of writers that way. That helped me to develop my writing. And eventually I just decided, for a multitude of reasons, I was kind of young and probably a little more on the arrogant side, and I couldn't figure out why things weren't happening fast enough for me, as I'm sure every artist goes through that.
Yeah, patience.
You're like, what's going on? Why am I getting passed up? I thought I was next in line, and then somebody would come in, and you're like, wait a minute, who's this person? But eventually I made the decision that I wanted to do other things in my life professionally. And I just wanted to go pursue some other avenues, and teaching was definitely one of them.
And one of them, like when you were basically taking a break though, where did you travel to?
So I had decided.
Yes, that's what I meant. Taking a break.
Perfect segue, Dani. That was perfect segue. I left. I put all my things in storage, and with no expectations, I went over to Japan for about 4 months. It was just kind of a pleasure backpacking trip that I wanted to go somewhere where I was completely off the grid, and B, completely out of my element, because I thought that this would sort of help give me reflection on what I wanted to do with the next phase of my life. If I wasn't going to do music professionally, then I wanted to find something that would be as equally fulfilling. And I backpacked all around. I probably walked over about 1,000 miles or so. I actually, on the recommendation of a friend, I went and participated in this this Buddhist pilgrimage. I'm not Buddhist myself, but I really like the idea of visiting all these monasteries, and they have. So I went to one of the islands and participated in that. Took me the better part of a month and a half to walk, and that's what I did. I walked, and it's amazing how much reflection you do on your own life when it's like that's pretty much your daily routine. Is you get up, you have a meal, and then you're walking. You're left with your own thoughts pretty much all day long. So it was an experience like nothing else I don't want to say nothing else I've ever done, but it was a very, very moving experience for me that really kind of led me into wanting to work more in special education, wanting to work in teaching, and just really try to lead sort of like a servant's life. What can I do with my life to be in service to others?
JC, do your songs, a lot of your songs represent not only what you went through in life, but anything that has to do with something with what you do as a teacher?
I think so. I think that, I mean, living the good life is a perfect example of that. I certainly, it's not my place to preach to anybody or teach, hey, this is the way it should be, but like I do in teaching, it's like I try to explain, I try to model, I try to give examples of doing things at the optimal level, or no matter what you're doing in the moment, it's very significant, and you should do it to the best of your ability. So that's what that song "Living the Good Life" is about. It really doesn't have anything to do with like monetary value or anything like that. It's just about being grateful for all of the wonderful things in your life, and whatever you're doing, wherever you're focusing your energy, do it with intention and do it to the best of your ability.
Beautiful.
That's very beautiful. But I want to get back a little bit to when you disappeared to Japan. Out of all the countries, like any state, any country, why Japan? Like, was there something behind it? Where was it like a really private getaway for just yourself to like meditate?
Great question, Dani. I think everybody in my circle of friends and family at one time or another all asked me the exact same question, like, why Japan?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's beautiful.
Especially because I didn't even speak fluent Japanese. In fact, I had the opportunity to in high school. One of my teachers who then became one of my friends, Jeff Maddie. I think my junior year of high school, I remember they offered some new language programs, and they offered Japanese, and I thought I really want to learn that. I was pretty big into martial arts in the time, so I thought I want to study this. And he was the one that really convinced me that it was a place I should check out. He went over there and lived for several years. He coached college football over there, and he thought that getting to know me and kind of my adventurous side, he said, this is a trip that will probably change your life, kid. And he was 100% right. So
wow.
he kind of like planted the seed in high school, and then I forgot about it because, like I said, I was so focused on music, and that's what my life was going to be. I'm going to be the next Garth Brooks, and no, this is what I'm doing. I don't have time for these other things. I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to do and I was at this point in my life where it's almost like there was a voice. No, in fact, there was. I'll say it. There was a voice in my head that just kept saying, "Well, are you ready to go now?" And I'm like, "What? Are you ready? What? Are you ready to go now?" And as soon as I just kind of got into that quiet space, I'm like, "Oh my God, Japan." I'm now at a point where it's like I've got some money, I've had some success. I can put everything on hold. I could actually this is a realistic thing that I could actually go and do. And then once that intention was there, it was like, okay, this is happening. So then the planning started. I'm like, okay. And I probably planned for the better part of a few months of what I was going to do and how I was going to do it over there, because I knew that I was completely on my own.
Wow.
So it's kind of like that's what I meant by, if you really want to figure out who you are, immerse yourself or put yourself in a situation where you have the least amount of control, and you're just kind of opening yourself to whatever is going to happen. And it's amazing what the universe comes back with.
It is, but it sounds very spiritual too, your trip.
It was. I wouldn't say like religious. Again, I did some things that were part of the Buddhist path. I'm not a Buddhist myself, but there were times where there was this very beautiful spiritual awakening over there, and it really provided some magic in my life. I mean, there was, I'm not ashamed to say there was definitely some magic over there, and there was some just deep spiritual healing, guidance, all of it. That when I came back to the States, I was very, very confident of what my next move was going to be and where I needed to focus my attention.
And where it went from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which we were talking earlier. That's what led me to eventually going up to this camp for at-risk teens up in New Hampshire, and I worked there as a counselor for several months.
And then from there, it kind of not really like it pushed you into being a special ed, but you were around all the kids, correct? So was it just something that you felt like more comfortable with, and you wanted to move up?
I think so. Once was in, just different kind of circumstances where I started learning about individualized education programs, or IEPs, as they call them in special education. And I really liked the idea of helping people that were having a tough time accessing, the academic curriculum in schools. They were struggling, and I really liked the idea of trying to help them navigate that, and in trying to help them, figure out, okay, well, identify what's working for you, what's not working for you, and how can we sort of amplify the things that are working for you, and start to, lessen the things that aren't. Because there's no real quick answers in special education. I'm not a guru. I'm not like, I don't have all the answers. But
yeah, I have ADHD. Really,
so there you go. And see, I feel like I was going to say, I feel like I had that myself. It was not something that they were diagnosing necessarily, at least that I was aware of. I was never on that radar to be tested for that. But I feel like, I could certainly empathize, because I did have a tough time in school. Sometimes it was really what my problem was focus and helping trying to keep information organized.
And math was a bad thing for me, because focusing was 100% of the point, but I think I needed the one-on-one because I couldn't understand anything I was learning.
Absolutely.
And my dad could vouch for me and even say that I was not amazing at school.
Yeah.
Because of that.
It's definitely true.
Thanks. Thank you.
But the thing about that is it has absolutely zero to do with your intelligence. It has zero to do even with your willingness.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just there's this wall that, because it's where you focus all your energy, it's so hard to see around that. And it's like, if you can just find a different way to access, all the other stuff, a way that works specifically for you, individually to you, then everything falls into place, and you start having more success. And me as a person, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I'm egotistical enough to say that like I make that happen. I just like being part of that process when it does happen for somebody else. And it's like, if I can do my little thing to kind of like, help you get on track, man, then that is really what,
that's your success.
That it is. That's what gets me up in the morning.
That's beautiful. I know we spoke about living the good life, because we're going to play that shortly, but we also were going to play, well, okay, that could have been me. Is there anything behind the title?
So okay, that could have been me was always meant to sort of be this just a fun, little slap happy, maybe tongue in cheek kind of song about, doing, falling into some bad habits. And just, the song to me is about like just doing some goofy stuff and finally being aware of it, so that, you don't continue the path of making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Totally fine to make mistakes.
Yes.
It's not so good to keep making the same ones over and over again.
We have to learn from our mistakes. That's what everyone.
That's right.
But you being a teacher, you're the one that should have said that, right? You have all that ability.
I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just happy to be part of the process. You always try to learn.
What grade do you also teach?
So I work in the high school. So I'm working with students that are 9th grade through 12th. I did spend some time in the middle school.
Do you also get to deal with any of the kids under the spectrum?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because I don't know if that's separate or if that's with special ed. I don't know how it's being labeled. That's why I was asking.
Oh, it's a great question. Sure. Special education really kind of flies the banner of anybody that is, it could be struggling learners. It could be people that are identified with learning disabilities. Yeah. And there's a whole array of them. But yes, usually students who are, that have autism, that have Asperger's, depending on how they're able to function in school, their diagnosis could certainly make them eligible to receive special education services. But somebody once told me, when you experience somebody with autism, it's always like the first time. It's not like there's this laundry list of characteristics that, oh, if this person has autism, this is probably going to be their characteristics. It's never like that. And there's such a wide, and that's why it's a spectrum, because there really is a wide bandwidth of what somebody who has that, what they are capable of doing and what they're not. And so it's tough. It takes years trying to figure that out. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How can we amplify your strengths and try to lessen your weaknesses?
That's beautiful. It's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense to you too, because of the way the world is in general. You and I are people that like us that reach out to help the other people that are struggling or whatever, no matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is.
And I'll tell you, I've had so many experiences where I've worked with both young students, both children and adults that have autism, and it's I don't even know that I don't look at it as it's a weakness. It's just there's a different kind of communication that's happening. It's like, wow, this person sees the world different than I do, and it's not better, it's not worse. They have sort of a different communication going on with how they do things. So, kind of like being in Japan and not speaking fluent Japanese, it's like I sort of learned while I was there because I was forced to. And this is similar to that. It's like, okay, working with an individual, I just have to kind of learn their language a little bit and then find out again, like, okay, well, it seems like when you're doing this, man, you're flying. You're really doing a great job. When it comes to, and this is me too, like when it comes to organization, it's like, brother, you're a train wreck, and I can feel that because it's like, I'm sort of like that myself. So, trying to find like, okay, so what are some strategies we can put in place, so that that kind of helps you out with the organization, and then that can get you to accessing the academic component. And usually once we're able to identify that, I love that transition where you can see that the person gets it and then they own it. And it's like, okay, this is my tool. Now it's a tool that you can use for the rest of your life. And it's like, to me, man, there's nothing cooler than that.
JC, that's very interesting. I just want to say real quick, just a comment and a question too. I have several friends that are songwriters, and I co-wrote a song too. Bonfire.
Great title. I like that.
Yeah, well, it's about the burning desire for helping everybody burn in desire. Nice. All it is. It recreates what we're trying to create. But what I'm trying to say is, do you find that sometimes when you are a songwriter, because I have friends like this, they'll just get up in the morning, brush their teeth. They'll say, "Oh, I'm going to write a song about brushing teeth," or it like start taking over your life a little bit. And then how do you stop that? Because,
why would you want to stop it?
Because when I finished Bonfire, I wrote a song with another friend, co-wrote, called "Yes We Can," because it shows that basically we can do anything that we really want to do in life. Yeah. It's based on the fact that what I've been telling my daughters for years: whatever you want to be or whatever you want to do, you can do.
Yes,
there's no limitations. There's no, other than maybe, if you're going to be a deep sea diver, you got to learn how to dive. But other than that, it's just an example.
Good job.
There's no limitations on anything.
You're 100% right, and it's what happens. Unfortunately, it's kind of like as we're kids and we become adults, we lose that innocence, And the same thing sort of happens with our dreams. It's like you get told enough times that, well, that's silly. That's not what people do, or kind of the cynicism, starts to elevate as you get older, and we start buying into, well, that's what you're supposed to do as an adult. You're supposed to look at everything and evaluate everything, through a certain lens. And really, I think maybe younger generations are starting to figure out that, like, that's not true. Like, I can create how's it go? Your focus determines your reality, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's whatever you want to create. I mean, it's your life, and you really can paint it any way that you want. But I don't know, it's like it gets lost in translation, or maybe we just stop truly believing that at some point. So it gets harder and harder to create that life. So I feel like now there almost needs to be this shift in consciousness where we're like, hey, why not? And more importantly, why not you? So for me, that's why I came back to music, because, you know, the music biz, JC, that had gone through, you know, did it as a kid and went through Nashville, and, you know, had to hear from publishers and from record label execs pretty much on a daily basis, you know, how much I suck.
Oh,
you know, because, well, no, and I say that jokingly, but no, their job was to listen to something that's very subjective and just give you a critique on what they hear. And you can't necessarily fault them for that. They either hear it or they don't. And it's kind of decided like that. So you go through this, you know, kind of like day in and day out, where you're told, yeah, no, we don't hear it. Yeah, it's good, but it's not great, you know, and it kind of wears on you. So I think that was, I mean, if, you know, full transparency, that had played into the idea of me leaving music as well. That was part of the decision, going, you know what, I've heard enough times that maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it's true.
So you needed a full break altogether, or like everything.
Yeah.
Like a huge, yeah.
It was. I mean, I needed, well, because basically from the time I was a young and a teenager, I thought music was going to be my mark in the world. And at some point, and I couldn't tell you exactly when it happened, but I remember I'm sitting there in my apartment, and I had that realization, false realization, I think now looking back on it, but I had a realization that said, you know what, maybe this isn't going to happen. And it's like, I put all my eggs in this basket. What do you mean it's not going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was the deal. You know, this is what, you know, all the sacrificing and all the, you know, everything that has led us to this point. What do you mean we hit a wall and it's not going to happen? So, and it's a scary place, because you can go down some really dark paths when that's in your brain. I decided that I wanted to find something positive, and said, okay, all right, let's figure out the next thing. You know, okay, if that's not it, let's figure something else out. And I know this is long-winded. I apologize. I apologize to all the listeners. They're like, land your plane, pal. Get to your point. My point is that somewhere along this travel of teaching, I started to fall in love with music again. And I started saying, you know, there's no age limit on this. There's no, you know, it's not like, well, to be a star, you have to be, you know, only in your 20s. If you get to your 30s, forget it. Your star is out. You know, there's no shot at this, you know, after a certain age. And it's like, who made that rule? Why? That's not true.
Right.
So why not me? Why not get back out there? You love music, share it with people. You know, that doesn't matter what happens. If Nashville calls, great, it'd be awesome. But if they don't, that's okay too. The point is I enjoy making music. I enjoy writing songs. And Gene, you know, because you write as well. Songwriting is not something that, you know, you just decide, I'm going to be a songwriter. It's something that was always there. It's always there.
Yeah, it's always there. It is.
Right. Whether you're writing,
and then you get a couple successes, and it's even more there.
Oh man, that's
or failures, because you want to be successful. Successful brings more success. Failure brings sometimes success, but you got to keep trying. You got to, you know, I tell everybody, don't ever stop. If one song wasn't good enough, maybe just tweak the words, give it to somebody else. I've given songs to a lot of people that are friends of mine, and I'm not saying they were hits, but you know, they were able to do what I couldn't, because number one, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the finances, I didn't have the time, I didn't have the time to record it. So I just gave it to them and said, you know, this is your song.
So true.
So we do that as songwriters, but but we learn
both
from
are
that.
talking
Go
on
ahead.
top of each other.
It's okay. Oh, it's great. I'm loving being part of the conversation. It's not something that, even if you're not writing songs, you're still thinking like a songwriter. You know what I mean? It's like you were to mention, like you wake up in the morning, you know, you might be thinking about brushing your teeth, or some other topic comes into your head, and you start looking at it like, well, what's a different angle that people, you know, don't usually see that from? Like, what's a different lens? What's a different way to kind of, you know, come at it? As soon as you start that line of questioning in your head, you're a writer.
Yeah,
That's what writers do. Now, whether or not that ends up being, you know, an article, a novel, a song, doesn't really matter. You have that writer mentality, and that's something that you have it or you don't. You know,
don't.
And it's like when you have it, unfortunately, you have to do it. It kind of forces you, and it's like, even I know for a couple of years I just was so jaded. I'm like, I'm never gonna write songs again. My songs are terrible. It's like, yeah, okay, fine, go, you know, have your pity party, go cry for a couple of years, and then, you know, I'll be here when you come back. Well, and that's why I love revisiting writing, because it's like coming back to an old friend that never really left me.
Right.
And it's like they're still as wise as can be. I'm finally starting to get smarter, you know, and it's a beautiful relationship.
And not to take over the interview, but with songwriting, I got to say, the more you listen to Jack Temchin, the one that does the Eagles songs with Don Henley and Glenn Frey, Tequila Sunrise, and all the great songs he wrote for them. And of course, Dan Fogelberg, another great songwriter. The song structures, the chorus, everything is just it sounds amazing. And then what you try to do as a songwriter, you try to duplicate that your own way. Or do
covers of it as well.
Well, covers are one thing. Covers are, it's like, you know, somebody does a great song and then you're trying to make it either better or at least as good. But at the same time, when you're creating your own, it's your own baby, man. You could do whatever you want with it.
Well, if you're going to mention those groups, you have to also mention Jackson Browne that lived in the story I heard was he lived in the same apartment complex as Glenn Frey, and he had kind of a little bit of the chorus for "Take It Easy," one of their really big hits. And then Glenn comes up with that. What is it? There's a girl, my lord, and it was a girl, my lord, Ford slowing down to take a look at me, and it's like, oh man, that's something.
It's magic. It's just magic. And that's the other part of songwriting too. Like we said, share with the friends. That's exactly what Jackson Browne did. He shared it with Glenn Frey.
See what you can do. Yeah, see what you can do with this, and it's like, turn it into a #1 hit. And
Paul McCartney, a great songwriter for the Beatles, shared with. How many people? Peter and Gordon. He shared with Badfinger, you know, Joey Mullen and all the guys from Badfinger. I mean, the songs he didn't think that would worked for them.
Yeah,
you know, it's just part of who we are as people. So we try to do that.
Hey, Dani, I got a question for you. I'm gonna.
Yep.
So what's some of your favorite music? What's your influences that you really like to listen to?
Well, my different types of genres that I love right now is I'm torn between pop and country.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm like highly obsessed with country though. I can't put it down.
I'll let you in on a little secret. You never have to choose. You just listen to what you like. That's the beauty now. Like everything's on Spotify. You listen to put together playlists and everything. See, we used to put together mixtapes. We had to physically, take songs and record it.
Wait, are you talking about cassettes or are you talking about cassette? Yeah.
About cassettes,
not the records. Okay.
No. Well, sometimes you would actually, if you had a vinyl album, you would put that on and then put up your cassette player next to the speaker so that you could record it onto the mixtape. I mean, we thought we were like tracking engineers when we were doing stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know about that. I knew how to do mixtapes.
Yeah, we did that. We did all that. Yeah.
They didn't even have that many.
Or you'd have to wait like the radio. You'd have to be listening like all day till your song would come on, right? And then hit record.
Well, that's why I formed Hamilton Radio, because if they want to hear a J.C. Mcord concert of a lot of his songs, they can just request them. That's what I used to do to impress people. If somebody would say, I want to hear Living the Good Life, I thought, play that. Yeah, no problem. And then I would play maybe 2 or 3 other your songs. And I said, oh, that was really cool. And that's kind of how radio should be, but it's not. I'm that extra before Spotify. I'm that FM radio before DJs, talked over the music. And I'm not saying it was good or bad. I'm just saying that's the way it was. I just want to give a shout out to my friend Jimmy Ashenbender. He's from the band The Outsiders from the 60s.
Hey, Jimmy.
Got new stuff coming out, and Jimmy's going to be on the Zoom call too. Jimmy's an awesome guy. Sent me his stuff. He's got new songs out, and we're trying to promote him. But that's the other part of the radio that you can say is different, because if the owner truly cares about the songs and the music, he's going to see
and
deep within the artist's profile, and not just play the songs that were hits or songs that people know, but other songs to give a truly unique sound to the way that artist is. You follow what I'm saying?
I'm with you, man. Okay. I'm in the car. I'm in the car riding shotgun. I'm so
there. You go.
He's in the passenger seat. Another shout out. We're gonna play his song.
Yeah.
I want to play "Living the Good Life," and we'll play "Well, Okay, That Could Have Been Me." Also, if any comments pop up on the screen, you're more than welcome to socialize, talk. Like if you see them and everything, that's fine. My boyfriend's actually tuning in right now, Christopher, and as you can see, he said this is a great show. He can relate to a lot of the first half of the show, and he said you are a wonderful man.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Thank you. I'm sure you're a pretty wonderful man your own self.
Maybe one of you guys. I don't know. Both.
I at least know he's a very smart man, because he decided to hook up with Dani there. So
oh, God, that was so sweet. Thank you. All right, I want to play. We're gonna play a song.
Yeah.
So we're going to play Living the Good Life, and we'll play Well, Okay, That Could Have Been Me. Then we'll be right back to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net HR1 with JC Mcord.
Awesome, folks. Can't wait.
Here we go.
I at least know he's a very smart man, because he decided to hook
There's a delay, and then it's going to go into the song.
Oh, God, that was so sweet. Thank you. All right, I want to play, we're going to play a song.
Yeah.
So we're going to play Living the Good Life, and we'll play Well, Okay, That Could Have Been Me. Then we'll be right back to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net HR1 with JC Mcord.
Awesome, folks. Can't wait.
Let's get it. I've always tried to be a friend like an ant.
I'm going to go grab some more water. That's cool.
Help you up when you're down. Show up when you need a hand. That's just the way I was raised. That's just who I am. I'm living the good life, best as I can. It's that state of mind that is easier to find. I get what I give, and I give all I can. My favorite moments are the ones we share. I like having some fun on Saturday night, singing Amazing Grace come morning light. I still got a few bad habits, but I'm living the good life. Living the good life. Ain't no kind of hero, just an ordinary guy. You ask my wife, she'll say, Lord, blessing me try. I work real hard all day and come home at quitting time. I went straight to this good life with nothing, that's who's made us fine. You don't need to go far, you're happy where you are. I get what I give, and I give all I can. My favorite moments are the ones we share. I like having some fun on Saturday night, singing Amazing Grace come over this land. I still got a few bad habits, but I'm living the good life. Living the good life. man beautiful really opens my eyes. Oh, favorite moments are the ones we share. Like having some fun on Saturday night. See the amazing race coming morning. I still gotta feel that happiness. I get what I give and I give all I can. My favorite moments are the ones we share. Like having some fun on Saturday night. See an amazing race coming morning. Still got to be that happy, but I'm living the good life. Living the good life. Living the good life. Living the good Anybody see my phone? My recollection is a little hazy. How the hell I get home? Oh, last night got pretty crazy. You tell me I was slamming down, acting like a clown, about to hold a bar around and away. Well, okay, could have been me. Hey, where's my credit card? Still at the bar, I guess I must have left it. Dude, where's my car? Oh yeah, I think I took an Uber instead. When did I get this sombrero tattoo? Why is my left eye all black and blue? Man, no way. Well, okay, could have been me. That could have been me. Staying home every night, holding her tight in my arms. That could have been me. Too blind to see everything I was doing wrong. That could have been me, staying home every night, holding her tight in my arms. That could have been me, too blind to see everything I was doing wrong. Who's knocking on my door? It's the police, they wanna ask me some questions about the night before. Hey, is there something that you failed to mention? They wanna know if I broke into the zoo, kidnapped an Australian cat, ran away. Well, okay.
Okay.
All right, and we're back to the
good stuff,
DJ
JC.
Dani
Good
show
stuff,
on
man.
Hamilton Radio.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, I really want to give a shout out to the musicians that performed on that. Kathy Clasper-Torch and that beautiful fiddle solos that she was doing. Chris Brooks on pedal steel. The lovely ladies singing on the chorus, Paula Markowitz and Nicole Malagodi. And a special, special shout out to the gentleman that produced my album, my friend, my mentor, George Dassault, who pretty much plays all the other tracks he's doing. He does it all.
Yeah, you know, that's really cool because
really
where was that recorded at?
So that was recorded in Cumberland, Rhode Island, studio called Galilee Productions. George Dassault has his,
Okay.
yeah, he's got his own setup.
Cool.
And him and I have collaborated on some other projects in the past. So he was definitely the person that I thought of right away once I started writing songs again in COVID, mostly for therapy. And then when I had enough for an album, I'm like, I got to call George. He's got to do this with me.
How many did you write regarding, the pandemic that we're in?
So I probably wrote a total. Thanks, Jimmy, for the production. Yeah, that's Galilee Productions in Cumberland, Rhode Island. If you want to check them out, George Dassault, Dussault. I wrote about 17 songs or so.
Woo!
And probably, yeah, it's kind of like once you get into that, yeah, it's like they just keep coming out. You're like, yeah, that's kind of what my wife was like. She's like, "Are you kidding me? Really? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You're over there working. Would you come to bed?" Yeah, I drove her absolutely nuts. She is a champ. God bless her. But yeah, probably about 17 songs, and then so we got them down to our the top 10. Top 9 or 10 songs, and there was on the album that I have called Good Life Country. I am a huge Bad Company fan, especially the lead singer Paul Rogers, who I was happy enough to meet him and his beautiful wife, and they could not be more gracious people. I love it when your heroes turn out to be just as cool as you hope they would. That's not always the case in show business, but they were. So I got to do one of his songs, Simple Man, that him and Mick Ralphs wrote with, I think Mick Ralphs actually was a songwriter on that, wrote for Bad Company. And I do a cover of that on my album.
Well, let me tell you, just a little side note here on Bad Company. You know, Simon Kirk was the drummer, correct?
Oh yeah. I know Simon. I don't know him though, but yeah.
No, but he had a country band.
That, you know what? I'm not surprised.
And his country band, I play his music on here. I was actually going to try to interview him, but he was just so busy with stuff. But his country band is off the wall. They're really great.
And is he singing on it? Because he's
singer. He's doing the drums and he's singing. And I think there's a girl in and another guy, but I have to look for it. But yeah, I was playing their music. They were really, really good. I forgot what they're called.
He's another cool guy. I talked to him briefly. They came a couple of years ago. They came to Twin River Casino in Lincoln, Rhode Island, and I was fortunate because my band had played a band I had called Roadhouse Strangers. We had played there, and so kind of got to know some of the people. They're like, "You want to come backstage, meet the band?" I'm like, "Yeah."
That's so cool.
Oh, that must have been really fun.
It was unbelievable. And my wife was there, so I got to look like, I was a rock star. Like, yeah, hon, come on, we're going to come back. We're going to meet Paul. It's going to be great.
That's the attitude.
So your influence is not only country, but other music as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm a huge, like I said, Bad Company fan. I love Eagles. There's so much good stuff outside of country that I mentioned Fleetwood Mac earlier, and I've got, even some newer stuff. I love those the kids out of Michigan, Greta Van Fleet.
Van Fleet, yes.
Oh, man, it's like, what? Just blowing me away. So, yeah, great music is great music. Birds, absolutely. Absolutely. Keep them coming. Love me the Birds.
JC, what is your website where people can find you and your merchandise?
Oh, thank you so much for asking, Dani. So you can find me at jcmccord.com. I do have, if you go to my store, you can find out all about me, and you find out I got a bio and I got music on there. But also go to my store. I have my JC Mcord Good Life Country CDs available, and I am happy to on orders. I ship and handle that all myself, so I'm always happy to autograph that for you.
How much are they sold for, JC?
$1 gazillion per CD. No. You kind of caught me there. I'm honestly not sure. I think we've got them for I think maybe 15 or just under 15.
Okay.
For the cost. Yeah. You caught me on that one. I probably should know that. But yeah, definitely under 20. And then I've also got a starter pack of some of my merchandise, which will include a nice picture of me there playing a guitar. Yeah, lovely.
Okay. Is it a
nice
post office? No, post.
What?
Postgram?
What?
Yeah, it's just a
postcard.
Kind of looks like that. Yeah, it's postcard size, regular picture. The farm, the background that you see there, that farm, actually that's the same farm on the video of Living the Good Life. So the video takes place at that same farm. And then I've got my sticker here. Got my so JC Mcord. This is my album cover sticker.
I love your logo.
JC, question.
Wait, one second.
Thank you.
I love your logo on it. Who came up with that?
Oh, great. I'm glad you asked that. So, oh, man. A good friend of mine, Jay Costa, he is in Massachusetts. So Jay and I are friends. Jay, talk about, different music genres. So Jay is a heavy metal singer. And he's an amazing, talented musician and great guy. I asked him to come up with something for JC Mcord, and he did not let me down. That was totally his idea, and I loved it as soon as I saw it. I said, "That's what I want." So he helped me. Yeah, he helped me design the album cover, and this is actually the same logo. So this is a magnet. Okay. You get a nice JC Mcord magnet there, and this is my pride and joy right here. So these are I'm actually sporting one, the bracelet. Living the Good Life. Yeah, we'll send you one of those. You can get. And this is a really cool story. So a friend of the family, a young lady who just got accepted into college. Her name is Caitlin Nitschke, and she's going for graphic design. And I said, well, listen, kid, I got your first professional job here. I need you to help me design a logo that I'm gonna be using in a video. And so gave her some ideas, and she went and rolled with it. And she came up with this logo right here, which is featured on the "Okay, That Could Have Been Me" video. You'll actually see this. I'm not going to tell you where you find it. You got to go and find it. But the logo. I like that.
That's like a little like hypnotizing too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the logo pops up in the video. And speaking of that video, I'm going to be April Fool's Day. Be on the lookout. We're going to re-release the video with an alternate ending, kind of like a little April Fool's joke. So that's going to be all over on my Facebook page.
See, you need to be on that networking call, because that's when we're doing that networking call.
But he's releasing it before the networking call.
No, he said he's on April 1st.
But you're doing it at night, April Fool's.
Yeah, but it's still on the day. It's still on the same day.
Well, it's okay. Once I release it, I don't have to stay there and watch it. So
right.
We'll release it online, and then I can come over and do the phone.
Yeah, you can talk. Well, what I wanted to ask you was the music videos. What music videos have you done? You said "Living Good Life," and the other one's the
Okay, that could have been.
Okay, it could have been me. What about any others, or just them two?
So those are my official videos. I want to give a shout out. So for while we're talking about it, I want to say a special thank you, Derek Miller, Mary Alice Masudo. They were the ones who directed and filmed the Living the Good Life video. They did a fabulous job.
Wow.
And then Nathan Murrow is my animation artist that did "Okay, That Could Have Been Me." So those are my two official videos. I also just put out a lyric video for "Baby Just Talk to Me." So that and all of this you can find on the JC Mcord YouTube channel. So please, if you like the videos, think about subscribing. So that way, whenever you hit the subscribe button, whenever I have new videos, they'll send you a notice or an alert. And then I also did 2 cover videos I've got out there that I'm very proud of. Myself and George Dassault, we got together in his studio and we did a cover of the Bee Gees song, "I Gotta Get a Message to You."
Oh, yeah.
And we also did my country version of "Times Like These" by the Foo Fighters.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
So in that, I just released that last week. So all of that is up on my YouTube channel to check out.
That's beautiful.
yeah. What I was going to ask you was, do I have your permission to take the videos and put them on my Roku channel?
Yeah, sure.
I will do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just send me the links to the YouTube, because sometimes YouTube doesn't, for some reason doesn't always tag right, or there's always a problem something with YouTube. Not that it's always somebody's channel, but there's always a problem with YouTube sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
no, I hear you. I'll be happy to. I'll message you.
And plus, I don't ban your music.
Other people do. Well, as Facebook does normally.
Hey, we're just happy to get the views,
Yes. Now, you were speaking a little bit before about "Baby Just Talk to Me," how you released a lyric video for that.
Yes.
What exactly would "Baby Just Talk to Me" mean behind it?
So, great question. Thank you for asking that. That is the lifelong communication that gets lost in translation between lovers. Could be male and female, especially. It's like they how guys speak one language, girls speak another language.
One ear, not the other. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. But I don't think it's strictly for those types of relationships. There's so many different kinds of relationships, and sometimes it's really about being so close to somebody that you feel like you just can't talk to them, or you can't communicate something to somebody because they're just too close to you. And it's a lot easier than we think it is. And it's sometimes it's just certain things just have to kind of like play out till you finally get to that place where you can finally, this is what I'm thinking, and this is what I want you to know, and this is what I want to express to you. And unfortunately, we kind of have to like go through this dance, to get to that point. Maybe it's maybe it's comedy, maybe it's fighting, maybe it's screaming at each other. It's kind of different for everybody, but it's almost like you got to get through this dance to just get to like the honesty, the truth, And that's what that video is about. That's what that song's about. Baby, just talk to me.
And we are going to play "Baby Just Talk to Me." Remember, we saw "Out of This Control," so we'll end with that song later. "Baby Just Talk to Me," we're going to play by JC Mcord. We'll be right back to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR1.
Awesome. That's what that song's about.
We're going to
Baby, just talk to me.
And we're going to play "Baby Just Talk to Me." Remember, we saw "Out of This Control," so we'll end with that song later. "Baby Just Talk to Me," we're going to play by JC Mcord. We'll be right back to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR1.
Girl, it's getting late. I should probably be heading home. You haven't said what's really on your mind. I'd hate to think maybe you'd rather be alone instead of having me stay with you tonight. It's not just a whiskey, got me a little frisky. I like when you got going on. I'm dying just to hold you, let me show you it's okay to pour around your heart. Baby, just talk to me. Let me sing what you sing. All the colors paint your dreams. I don't wanna be just a part-time on the side thing. I wanna breathe you in under my skin, give you everything you need. Baby, just talk to me. You got your pride up, fixing to tell me to go to hell. Slow down, I ain't looking to start a fight. Sometimes we gotta break down just to make what we have stronger. This ain't about who's wrong and who's right. Your eyes are like midnight, praying for daylight, searching for open arms. I'm standing right in front of you. Tell me what I gotta do to help you tear down these walls. Baby, just talk to me. I wanna see what you see. All the colors that you used to make your dreams. I don't wanna be just a part-time on the side thing. I wanna breathe you in under my skin, give you everything you need. Baby, just talk to me. Baby, just talk to me. I wanna see what you see. Your fears, your dreams, and all your empty claims. Not no sugarcoat version, no. I don't wanna be just a part-time on the side thing. I wanna breathe you in under my skin, give you every part of me. Baby, just talk to me. Oh, girl, just talk to me. Come and set it free now. Put you faith in me now. Just talk to me. Lay it on the line. Don't hang me out to dry now. Just talk to me.
Oh my gosh, is that a beautiful song? I got so
I love
emotional
it.
over here.
I freaking
JC,
love
I'm
it.
like crying and like tearing
Thank you so
up
much.
and everything. It's crazy.
I had a dear sweet friend of me. She lovingly referred to that song. She says, "Man, that's some baby making music right there."
That is
I don't know if that's true, but
Okay.
that is adorable. It really is. One of my favorite inspirations, you asked me a little bit earlier, country artists, is I love Kane Brown so much, and I know he's about my age,
Yeah.
like being country and everything. But that song really gave me Kane Brown vibes.
oh yeah, well if
It's
Kane
something like
I-
as to
I
what
got
he
that too.
plays.
wants to cut it, if Kane wants to cut it, man, that's cool with me.
Or do a collab with him. That's even better, right?
Heck
You know-
yeah, call him up.
We got a lot of friends in the national industry.
Cool. Yeah, I'm open for collaborations anytime. Make the call.
Exactly. Yes,
Okay.
definitely. We're gonna
Yeah.
get ready to end the
I've
show.
got you, and I'll give you a little piece of the percentage. You can have some of my royalty. That's fine.
Thank you.
We're gonna get ready to end the show shortly. JC, is there any last minute anything you wanted to say? I know we promoted your website, and you want to give your social media out to everyone.
Absolutely. The great place to stop is just check out my website, jcmccord.com. It's got all of my social media from my Facebook page. We also have a wonderful private community called the Farm Team within my Facebook page. So if you want to be a part of that, you can find all that information at my website. If you like the music, I have CDs available. I hope you check that out. And just follow us on YouTube. That'd be great. Any kind of collaborations or artists out there, looking, I'm always open. So
yeah, my friend Anne Marie is definitely the one that co-wrote Bonfire with me, and there's so many
She'd be
great producers and friends out there in Nashville that I would, I'll shoot it out to them and see what happens. But no, if you can be on that networking call
not tomorrow, but Thursday,
yes.
Email me or anybody out there. Email me at admin at hamiltonradio.net. Say I'm interested in the Zoom call, and I'll add you because we've got a lot of people coming in, and hopefully, like I said, it depends on if they can make it or they can't make it. Some of them say they can, some of them they can't, but. I invite everybody I can. So.
It's a mix of all.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
I appreciate the invite. I will definitely make the effort to be there. So
thank you.
We're going to end the show with Out of Control. Really excited to hear this song. Now, this song exactly, just hearing by the title, it sounds like it's nothing to do with like life or skill or anything. Is it because Out of Control?
Yeah, Out of Control, I think kind of started out, it's about volatile relationships that, sometimes they're the most fun and they're also the most out of control. If you can think of some of natural disasters that are out there, they tend to take on some of those characteristics, but they're also, they provide the opportunities where you tend to learn the most about yourself. So.
Oh yeah,
and I just wanted a really kind of rockin' country song. So there you go.
And by the way, we're also John Wegner, a friend of mine, is we're actually working on another radio station with 24-hour DJs. So if anybody's interested in being a DJ on the station and sharing commission or whatever for advertisers and what, just give us an email. Shoot us an email.
What else are you doing that I don't know about?
Oh, we're doing a lot of things.
I appreciate you listening. I appreciate it.
I don't believe in staying stagnant. Staying stagnant doesn't help.
No, you got to keep moving.
I was going to say another thing is actually my guest coming up next week is Ashley Wineland, and she's from the Country Music Awards.
Oh, super cool.
So I don't know if that's something you know about, but if that's something you might want to tune in and you guys, because she'll be on video call as well, I believe. So
great. Yeah.
Tomorrow night, we have Anson Williams with me and Jimmy Deal. So I'm going to promote that too.
That's perfect, folks. Folks out there, you should be writing this down. We got this is amazing talent.
You're giving them too many days. You got to get some time, Daddy.
No, the reason why I say is because it's not only to promote what we're doing, it's to promote what everybody else is doing. And when one person comes in and sees another person there, relationships start that way.
Own.
Yeah.
I've just decided it's just easier for me to move in, so I will be there. I'm going to go pack some stuff, and I'll see y'all at the house. I like fried chicken. If you want to make that for dinner, it sounds great.
Take care, JC.
Thank you so much, JC. We're going to end the show with Out of Control. Stay in touch, and let me know when you have new music and stuff coming out, definitely.
Absolutely. DJ Danny G, thank you so much, guys. I love you all, and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We love you.
You're absolutely welcome.
Thank you. We're going to end with Out of Control. Yeah. Have a great night, everyone.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
There we go.
And let me know when you have new music and stuff coming out, definitely.
Absolutely. DJ Danny G, thank you so much, guys. I love you all. And thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We love you.
You're absolutely welcome.
Thank you. We're going to end with Out of Control. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Baby, you're a raging crossfire king. You knock me down to the ground, and I'm drowning in your rain. You pull me away, stir up my soul. There's a love we got is out of control. Girl, you're scorching, Texas wildfire. When you turn or when you burn, leaves me uplifted. You're smoldering embers, too hot to hold. This love we got is out of control. We can't contain it, honey, it's insane, yeah. We're talking heavens of melody. Sound the siren, ring the bell. We're gonna raise all kind of hell. Let's let it rock, let's let it roll, let it get out of control. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Thank you, Chucky.
Get to evacuate, we overrun the floodgates. It's getting out of control. Fall out critical, ain't your average typical. It's getting out of control. We can't contain it, honey, it's insane, yeah.
Get up and shake it. Shake your hands.
We're gonna raise all kind of hell. Let's let it rock, let's let it go, let it get. We can contain it, honey, it's insane, yeah. We're talking catastrophic, epic calamity. Turn the siren, ring the bell. We're gonna raise all kind of hell. Let's let it rock, let's let it go, let it get out of control.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you all.
Take care, JC.
Awesome. Have a